Good afternoon, guys. This is episode number 3 of Why United Country, Double Creek Land and Homes, as your Northeast Texas, Southwest Arkansas land professionals, home professionals, in town, out of town, hunting property, ranch property, you name it, timber property, we got you covered. And today I got a few questions for a local expert. This is Greg Anthony. And I'm going to give just a brief minute for Greg to introduce himself, and we'll go from there. So, Greg.
Good afternoon, folks. My name's Greg Anthony. I am a degreed forester for 31 years. Been living and working in Cass County the whole time. I've been buying and selling and managing and planning and advising people on timber for that time frame, and that's the way I've made my livelihood. So that's kind of my story. Have done a lot of things. I've helped people with management plans. I've helped people plant trees, like I've already said. A lot of things, a lot of different deals. I've worked for these local sawmills, paper mills, getting them wood, and that's just kind of been the way I've taken care of my family.
That's awesome. So 31 years of timberland management experience here, and we're just thrilled to death to have him at United Country, Double Creek Land and Homes as a timberland expert. And today I actually caught him out here in the field. He's cruising some timber and just doing what he does. And this guy's out here every single day. So without further ado, I'm going to ask him about 5 questions and just get his take as an expert of timberland management. Number 1, Greg, what are you seeing in current timber prices, and how does that compare to the last 12 to 24 months?
Well, I'll kind of go historical. The last 12 to 24 months have been really pretty good in the timber industry here in Cass County in Northeast Texas. We were kind of still on some stuff from the COVID buildup, and the lumber prices really going high, and demands for the mill. Kind of going into 2026, we've had kind of a drying trend around here, and there has been a little bit of slowdown in the market. So we've had a little bit of transition down, but still stable in this area in Northeast Texas. There are some areas further south that are a little on certain markets with the pine pulpwood or the pine saw timber. The hardwood market here in the last 3 or 4 months has kind of taken a pretty good dive in this area with some market problems with product of railroad ties and hardwood lumber markets a little soft. I think that'll pick back up. There's still some good markets further south, down like around Carthage and over in eastern Arkansas that are keeping some hardwood prices up. Like I said, they're not by any ways at the bottom end. They're just kind of mid-range right now.
So that leads me into the second question. How is mill demand in our region right now? Are mills buying aggressively, slowing down, or staying steady? And I think you answered a little bit of that, but just clarify.
Right, that's a good way to kind of lead into that. The mills right currently, as we're sitting here in June, seem to be picking up a little bit. They have been pretty much a little down on usage and needs between the first and second quarter of 26. Kind of combinations. We have been in a pretty hard drought.
Yeah.
And some other. There's been some mill outages, which a lot of people don't think about, but sometimes that does affect certain markets where one market is down, so the other one's kind of saturated, so prices don't move much. Gotcha. But we are seeing some more wetter weather going into June here lately, and we've had about a couple of inches here lately. Yeah. And so, I would say at least the need is picking up, but always will, when you've got a little more need, you may have a little uptick in price, depending on where your track is. Like this track here, it's on real sandy ground, so its demand might be a little higher than a place that's down in a bottomland that you can only get to, 3 to 4 months out of the year. So there are some things, and that's something in timber that a lot of people don't always think about is there's a word we like to use in forestry is It depends.
It depends.
And I know that's a real a cover-all thing, but it depends. Sometimes it depends on what you got. Do you have saw timber? Do you have a track of first thin and pulpwood? You know, where is it at? How far is it from the mill?
Sure.
How much does it cost to do it? So there's some things that affect somebody's stumpage where like one landowner next door is like maybe getting $5 a ton for their pulpwood, but then the landowner next door might be getting 10. Or let's back that more like 8. And like that's because maybe the landowner next door is clear cutting timber.
Yeah.
And the landowner on the other side is thinning. Well, thinnings cost more, so that just kind of affects some things. So that kind of covers that maybe a little bit.
So question 3 is, what types of timber stands are most in demand right now? Pine, saw timber, pulpwood, mixed hardwood, or something else?
Well, there's another one of them depends questions. But I'd see right now a good mix of chip and saw and pine pulpwood and pine logs. If you got like maybe a 20 to 25-year-old stand that needs thinning, the thing that helps it is you got multi-products. You've got something that they can all sell and work around. Sometimes if you got a solid pine log market, which I'm not saying it's not going to flow good, but you don't have as much diversity. You do have some diversity when in mature pine logs, like this track here is pretty mature. Yeah. And so, you know, you get wood out of the tops and you get some other byproducts, so it kind of flows the same way. Sure. So that I'd say pine more mature timbers moving better. The pine pulpwood market thinnings are maybe a little slower because of mill demands and usage and a lot of other things. So yeah.
All right. Question 4, are you seeing more landowners harvesting early, holding longer, or replanting differently based on current conditions? I think you've kind of touched on a little bit of that here already, but
I think we are starting to see landowners maybe trend down to less trees per acre they're planting. And they are, you know, the rotation ages are a lot shorter than they used to be. I know rotation ages from when I first got in were more like 40 years to 50 years. Now you're seeing people go like thin them at 15, thin them again at 22, 23, and possibly be clear cutting them at 30. So they're turning them over a lot faster, and they're planting less trees per acre. Depending on what your goal is, I mean, you know, if you're more higher per timber production and less wildlife in oriented, you're going maybe for shorter rotations for cash flow and stuff like that. I mean, everybody wants to make money off their land, but other people all have other goals too, besides just, you know, growing trees.
Gotcha. All right, here's the golden question, the one everybody wants to know. If you own 200 acres in Northeast Texas right now, what would you do with it? This is as a timber guy, what would you do with it? Harvest it, thin it, or hold it, or sell? Would you harvest it, thin it, hold it, or sell it right now?
Okay, there's that.
Yeah.
Hold it, or thin it, or hold off on it, right? That's kind of like hold it, thin it, or delay it. Right now, and depending on where it's at, if it's on some pretty good ground, I might hold it for a little bit, or I might just at least do a thinning.
Right.
Recover some income, but leave your crop trees, and let's see what this housing market's going to do, because I have heard that I've been, you know, I see stuff on the internet, and I'm different that maybe we're maybe going into another a housing boom a little bit.
Good.
So I'm not, you know, don't quote me on that 100%, but I have seen some, you know, some stuff out there that we may see a little uptick in that. So it might be hold it a little while longer, you know, versus going ahead and saying let's do it right now, or you know, either hold it or thin it. But it maybe
kind of depends on the ground you got.
It depends on what you got.
So if you got good ground, it might be worth selling it. If you got, you know, some little bit swampy, wetter lying areas, probably hold off.
Hold off a little bit and see what's going on with that. You know, like I said, you know, I know some people right now have, you know, decided to get out of timber business and just clear cut their land and get back into cattle, because like your other episode the other day with Bill, you know, cattle's up. You know,
at an all-time high.
So you know, maybe your better management objective for your property is to liquidate your timber assets and get it back in cattle. You know, it depends on what you want to do and how intensively you want to manage your land. You know, trees are really one of the greatest things in East Texas to manage, because they don't get up, you know, they do have things that can happen to them. You know, fire, bugs, insects, wind. I mean, but that's the risk of any type of investment. You know what you're doing. So. Yeah.
Well, our cameraman Jet just he held the camera up, so Hopefully we're still at a good angle. I'm glad we got a really good cameraman today.
That's right.
He's doing an awesome job. He's learning about timber. He's learning about forestry management today, right? We took the young man
forest
out.
Management.
And I love a good family atmosphere that we have here at Double Creek. And it truly is a blessing to be able to take your kids to work and know that everything's going to be all right. And that's just how we operate.
Yeah.
And so
it's a great company. We have so much exposure in this company with between timber and cattle and real estate, just residential real estate, commercial. Yeah. It's a great one-stop shop place. And I feel fortunate. I get to work here every day and be a part of this company. And just it's a great outfit. And we got great people here that are behind each other. We help each other as much as we can. And Ryan, I help him and he helps me. I can't tell you how much he helps me on other things because I'm pretty new to this business, but I'm gaining a little bit of experience here with the real estate side.
Well, when you hire one of us, you normally hire the group. So that's the advantage that we have, and that's really about it. All right. Well, Greg, tell them how they can reach you and send us out of here.
Again, my name's Greg Anthony, and like I said, I'm a professional forester and I'm a realtor, and with United Country Double Creek Land and Homes out of Atlanta, Texas. You can reach me at 903-490-1658 for all your real estate needs and dealing with land and timber or residential.
There you have it, guys. 31 years of experience in timber management, property management, you name it. Greg Anthony here. And just another key part of United Country Double Creek Land and Homes as a premier brokerage here in Northeast Texas, Southwest Arkansas. See you guys on the next episode, episode